Hi,
Good afternoon.
good to see you.
It's nice to actually get you on here. Yes, everybody, this is Kevin R. Davis, and Kevin is, used in scams. And it's been a while now, Kevin, hasn't it?
It has been. I've been cover modeling for about 4.5 years, but I feel like the scam started taking place maybe 2 years ago, maybe some before, but I just didn't know about it.
What I want to do, I want you to explain what your job is, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously when a scammer uses you, you've got your friends on here as well saying hello. when a scammer uses you, they've got you as on an oil rig or an engineer, or I've seen you as a gold trader, right, which is very, good. So please explain what your job is or what you do.
So I'm a romance book cover model, and normally they don't use my professional photos because I feel like that would give it away, because then the story that they give wouldn't really match up to whatever story they give. So normally they just take my personal photos off my page. I've taken photos at my mom's house, and they were using that as my house, saying that that's where I lived and that kind of thing like that. So they'll use my family photos to say, oh, this is my family, this is whatever.
Yeah. And this is why I wanted to say it, because you do have an unusual job. I'd never heard of this until I met you. But then it's sort of, the one thing about scammers we know about is that they do keep to a certain story.
Right.
We can anticipate that. We can say, well, he's not on an oil rig, he's not doing this, So we can actually say it like it is, which we should. But tell me about women contacting you.
Yeah, I have a lot of them, and normally it's once they figure out who I am, they'll start getting suspicious, and someone will finally say, oh, I found this photo online, or they'll be like, you need to do a reverse photo search, and then they find my account, and then a lot of times they think that I'm still the one scamming them. Or either they'll find my account and then they don't believe that my account's real, and I'm like, well, my account that's the main reason I wanted my account to be certified with a blue check mark, because I wanted them to know that I am the real person. But sometimes after people find out who I am, they will then contact the scammer and say, well, like, I didn't know you were a model. And they're like, oh, that's my twin brother.
Yes. Your twin brother's got identical tattoos. It's amazing how
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't get the stories, Kevin. I really don't. It's like, I've heard, well, everything that's on your Instagram page is actually controlled by your jealous ex-wife. And she just doesn't want to see you happy.
Right.
So she's telling all these things. But honey, I'm telling you the truth. We're going to be happy ever after, sort of thing. And they're believed.
Right.
Unbelievably. They are, and we've got to smash this myth that he said is actually the truth.
Yeah. One of the things too is, like, because of the different shoots I do, I change my look a lot.
Yes.
Like I buzz my hair off. I'll buzz my beard off. I'll do that, and that confuses people even more, because then they can say, "Oh, that looks like me, but that's not really him."
Yeah. You do that quite a lot. You grow your hair, but especially the beard, because sometimes it's like a goatee beard, sometimes it's full, and I get that they don't use your photo shoot pictures because that they are too stylized, they're too artistic.
Right. Right.
And it would give it away.
They would say, well, these are modeling photos. I thought you work on an oil rig.
Yeah, you just don't look like the type to work on an oil rig, Kevin, but that's
right. Or they say that they say that they're in the military, even though I have a full beard. Yeah.
And what gets me, and it gets all of us that work on my page, what gets us is well, he said he's this, and he said he's that. And we say, well, we are telling you what the truth is. So listen to us, listen to Kevin, but don't listen to he said, because he's going to tell you lies for money. And that's the thing, Kevin. People send money, vast amounts of money, for anything.
There are people that actually do pretend to be me, and they say I'm a model, because I've actually had someone say that I told them that I was going to lose my modeling contract unless I paid $20,000 for something.
Wow.
You know, it's like they come up with all kind of stories.
I mean, you paid $20,000, but you know, I've heard more outlandish stories. We hear them all the time,
Right?
And they get the money, and that's what I can't. That's what I can't understand. I'd love to understand how, you know, they get around somebody's head, and I do understand, because I do talk to many people, but the vast amounts of money that gets sent to these scammers is ridiculous.
Right.
And you know, Kevin, they don't do a proper video call. This is a video call.
Right.
I know, because I've seen it, that they will play a video of yours.
Right.
They'll play a video.
And AI is letting them do that now. You can make videos with AI, and it's pretty believable.
Some of it isn't.
Yeah.
And it's really, but you know, what they basically do is play a video of you, and then, oh, it's bad reception. You can't hear me. I can't talk to you.
Right.
And they say to us all the time, oh, but it was him because I saw him move. That's not good enough.
Right. Right.
You know, if you are going to have a future husband, I would like to have talked to him first.
Before you send a lot of money to them, especially. Yeah.
You would think, wouldn't you? I mean, I'd be rather offended if somebody I didn't know asked me for a lot of money, you know.
Right.
But I just don't give money away.
But you know, they're asking for money, but they won't even give you a video call.
No.
Right. And I feel like that's the reason why they do the military and the oil rig thing, is because they have excuses for bad reception, things like that, you know.
They do. And also, we've heard two good ones this week. One was the usual oil rig one, where if I use my phone on the oil rig, it will make it explode. And then the one we particularly loved this week is they couldn't use their phone on the military base because it makes the bombs explode. And people come to us and say, if they use the phone, does it make bombs explode, or the oil rig explode, or whatever? And you know, all these answers are out there to find.
Right.
That's the thing, Kevin. If they found you, if they've done if they've done some research and they get to you and they find you, there's a lot of other research people could do as well.
Right.
About what's going on. And I wish I knew what to do, to be honest. I really do, because and Gina's just said there, you know, you're working on an oil rig, or you know, you're in the wilds of Afghanistan, but you can chat 7 or 8 hours a day.
Right. Right.
And you know, nobody can do that. Let's face it, nobody can do that.
Right. And I feel like a lot of these people must have like spreadsheets where they keep up with each person to keep up with the story and where they left off and what they've told to that person, because I know they're talking to multiple people.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes, we know that. I mean, we've seen evidence of them sort of having 80 women on the phone.
Right.
You know, and we do know that they keep details of them, but we do know this thing about honey. You know, they get them to WhatsApp, and then it's honey, baby, my queen.
Dear. They say dear a lot.
No. Who in the world says dear?
Right.
And every time I get it, I laugh, because I get quite a lot from scammers every day. And as soon as they, you know, hello dear, how are you doing? I just laugh, because you know.
I love it when they send messages to my actual friends that they think that they, you know, my friends won't know them, and they're like, hello dear, thank you for supporting me, thank you for being a fan.
Oh,
and the thing is I would never call someone my fan. That just feels kind of weird to me, you know.
Let me see if I can find what I got today.
They use a lot of talk about God a lot too. I feel like they feel like that's going to resonate with most people.
That quite upsets me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because it gets a lot of people because they think they're good. They think they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't keep it, and I should have done. I got one this morning from Kevin R. Davis. Thank you for being a fan.
Right.
So I thought, well, if they can tell lies, I can tell lies.
Right.
So I answered, Kevin, this doesn't sound like you. Call me. You know my number. I didn't hear from him again.
Oh, right. Right.
A bit disappointing, you know.
Right.
But yes, I mean, you know, the language that they use is quite stilted to me, and we know that they use copy and paste. We know that they use things like, no. Okay, so this is you talking to a woman, right?
Right.
May your heart be happy and your days be bright. May your roads be smooth and your burdens light. May you find dreams and touch a star and never forget how special you are. You look so beautiful and you've got such a nice smile. Now, Kevin, if anybody sent that to me, I think he was a bit of a pervert, to be honest.
Right.
Oh, we've got the scammer. Prince
Right.
Fazza. Oh, Prince Fazza joined. We've got the bloody Nigerians.
He'll probably want to use this video of me talking so he can use it for someone else.
Usually I'm your mother.
Right.
It's amazing how many of the military guys they put on TikTok our live chats, and I'm their mother. So just don't call me mother and we'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Okay, dear.
Oh, it's okay, honey. But this is it. And you know, we've got to, I don't know how to get the message out further. You know, we like to do this because when somebody comes to us and saying that they are talking to you, we can show them this and say, this is your voice and this is how you speak. Right. Because they will call, I get them all the time, they will call in their own accent and say that they're you.
Right. I know that they told someone that I was born outside of the country and I had lived in the United States for so long. They use whatever they can. Like as soon as you question them on why do you sound different, then they have a story for it.
The best one I've ever come across was mine. Yeah, because I worked in South Africa for 2 weeks. That was the best one. He was American, but he worked in South Africa for 2 weeks.
And he got an
accent. Yeah, that's how he had an African accent. And they actually really believe it. No.
The thing is that these people want to believe whatever they're saying so bad. They want it to be real. And it's sad.
I personally think it's the attention. I think if somebody's lonely and you get somebody coming to them, they are getting attention morning, noon and night because, as you say, they catch up with the story. They'll make a note of the story of where they are.
I feel like they find a little bit about that person and then they hone in on that weakness, whatever it is. Maybe that person newly single, maybe they're newly widowed, maybe they've just moved to a new city and they're lonely. They'll use that and then they're like, okay, then they continue this relationship for months before they ever ask for anything. So that's what confuses them because they feel like at that point, well, they would have asked me a long time ago if this had been a scam.
I've been talking to him, but he's never asked me for money. I think he must be real.
Mm-hmm.
And we get that a lot. No, they're grooming you. It depends on what they want. Right. But they are grooming. That's, that is what they are doing. And depending on the vibes coming off the victim as to, they'll only ask when they think they're going to get it. Because they don't want to have wasted any time. So they don't, they're scamming 80 others. So if they have to take a little bit longer with one, your friends have got some really strange names. Skinny gay white boy. And let's say it this time, because I know you won't mind me saying it, that you're a gay man.
Right.
And so you're not looking for a woman. And sorry, that always just amuses me.
Well, what's even more weird is, like, you know, like, I've been in recovery from meth addiction for going on 6 years now. And so because of that, I was pretty much celibate, and I really have not been actively pursuing anyone, any gender whatsoever. And so, you know, but I have all these people who think they're in relationships with me, men and women.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know, I've spoken to men and women who have been, who have had your pictures used on, and the stories are the same.
Right.
The stories are, I mean, even the honey in bed's exactly the same.
Right, right.
It's just they sort of get it right about the you know, he or she.
I feel like they look at people who are following me, and if the guy is saying something like, they can tell their guy's really infatuated by me, then they go after them, and then they change the story, and all of a sudden, you know, they're a gay, they're speaking to someone as a gay person when they probably are the same scammer that's hitting up a woman.
Right. So this is what I got. This is what I got today. Kevin R. Davis, as you say. Now, I reckon that this one is stalking your Facebook account, because I put something on the other day about, well, you look very good, mean and moody, but I like you to smile. And then, so I got on this. Hello. Thanks for your lovely comments and likes on my page. Thanks for your support. It's a pleasure having you as a fan. Now, Kevin, I know, you know, you're not going to say that to anybody.
Right.
So well, that's the one I said to, and he's gone. I mean, he blocked me.
Right.
All I did was say, ring me because you know my number. I know you don't know my number, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
Challenge them.
So,
but no, that made me angry getting that, Kevin, this morning.
See, there's a lot of people that will say some kind of comment on my page that makes me feel like that's an odd comment. They think they're talking to me. So then I hit them up. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they'll be like, the photo you sent me, or you know, they'll say something to where I'm like, do you think that you're talking to me? And they're like, yes. You know, even though I put on my page all the time that they're scammers pretending to be me. Yeah. It's like even my followers fall for it. So it's really frustrating to know, like, there's so many people out there who have no clue who I am. So they're definitely going to fall for somebody because they don't know it's me, you know.
If only people would do some research,
right.
Though. You see, my problem with scams is that they get in the scam and they fall madly in love with you and they send the scammer a lot of money. And then something just thinks, well, that's a bit strange.
Right.
And then they start to research. And it might be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 later. But then they start to research and they find out who Kevin R. Davis is. Why? What can we do to get to the point where people do that research right at the start, so that the scammers get nothing? Right.
I mean, I feel like the more people hear about it through, like, you know, people reporting on it. So that's why whenever any kind of news show hits me up wanting me to interview about it, I'm like, definitely, because I want people to hear about this. But I don't know why enough people aren't hearing about it.
I don't. I really, really don't, because, you know, we are in a unique position on the pages because we get people from all across the world. It's not just America, it's not just England, it's Australia, it's Tibet and Nepal. You know, we get people from all across the world. It must be one of the biggest crimes in the world, and still nobody's talking about it.
Right. And the social media companies aren't doing anything about it.
Oh, they're getting worse.
They're getting worse. I feel like they make money off of maybe the more followers that they have, and so they don't mind these fake accounts because it helps with their numbers.
I think it's to sell their advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you were Burberry and your adverts went to 30,000 doctors in Yemen, you might get a little bit, you know, bothered about it if they ever find that out. But maybe that's the thing that's going to stop this, when advertisers realize they're being served up to an awful lot of fake accounts.
Right. My Facebook account has gone up by the thousands in the past 2 months. And I'm sure most of them are fake. A lot of them are not, but a lot of them are. And I try to catch as many as I can, but it's just frustrating how they're just bombarding my account. And I'm sure a lot of those fake accounts are just getting my information so that they can then have another account pretending to be me.
Yes. Now, exactly. You know, so that is somebody that's been stalking your page, and it is stalking.
Right.
Because, you know, thanks for your lovely comments. I didn't. I told you to smile. Wasn't a lovely comment.
I've had people pretending to be me with my name and my photos, replying to people on my page. I'm like, don't you think I would see that?
Yes.
But I feel like they feel like, you know, with a lot of celebrities who have a lot of people on their page, they don't keep up with their page because they post and then they just let it go, and so they can get away with it. I actually engage more than most people do, so I do catch a lot of that.
I think as well sometimes celebrities, if you get actors and things like this, I think they've got a team that sorts out their social media for them, and I don't think those teams know what to look for. So that's why you do get Johnny Depp.
But like with someone with like me, I have enough photos out there for them to use.
Yes.
They know that I have that, you know, people respond well to me, so they're like, and I feel like I'm the perfect age because they go after a lot of people who are a little bit older. So, you know, if I was 20 something, some 50, 60-year-old woman wouldn't really believe that I was hitting on them necessarily. So I feel like I'm the perfect age for them to use for that demographic. And I'm also not well enough known that people are going to instantly recognize me and go, oh, that's a model, or that's so-and-so.
Yeah. And also, you know, they've got this thing, age is just a number. So I think where your age is quite ideal is they can go higher and say to 70 somethings, I'm not going to go that. I'm not that old, but you know, I'm getting on.
Right.
And they do say to me, I get them all the time. I get, you know, 35-year-old Marines. Age is just a number. I've never seen a 35-year-old Marine wanting a 60-odd-year-old woman. But, and I find they skirt around that a lot. You know, if it is a woman much older than you, they will throw something in about age and then ignore it, and then go on to how beautiful she is.
Right. I've seen them say that I was up to like 59, and I've seen them say I was in my 40s. So, you know, whatever works for that person.
And I think it's who they pitching it to, because it doesn't, you know, nobody's going to find out, because half the time they don't look. But you know, it grieves me that they steal lives. Now, we have a thing, you know, we will take victims and we will talk to them, we'll support them, we'll get them out, we'll tell them what they have to do, and we'll get them out. We can turn victims into survivors, Kevin. We can't do that for you. You will always be a victim of this because we can't stop them using you.
Right.
And I think that's awful.
Well, I mean, one good thing is that, you know, I hate that I'm the face.
Hi, Richard.
I hate that I'm the face of a scam and that people are using me to hurt people, especially because they go after lonely people. They go after people who are people with some mental illness, people who, you know, maybe are disabled at home. There's so many things that people that go over. And I hate the fact that they use me to scam someone. But overall, you know, I'm not really getting hurt. They're getting hurt, you know?
We've just got Kevin you're Kevin. We've just got Richard going up there, and Richard's another one who's used, and he was military, so when he came out, they're still using his military pictures because they like to use the uniform.
Right.
It does. I just think, the thing is, you say you don't like being used. It hurts you being used and everything. You can't do anything about it. Your face and your body is your living. It's what you sell, if you like.
And I try to block and delete and report as many accounts to you as I can, but it's like as soon as you report 10, 50 other ones pop up. So,
I mean, the way I look at it, Kevin, is when I said about, the way you look is your living. You sell yourself.
Right.
And I was being nice about that because that's what you do.
Right.
But the one thing you've got no control over is this being used. So you can go to a photo shoot and you can have you're pleased with what the results are. But then somebody has taken your pictures and pretending to be you, either as your name, which is cheeky, or as, I've seen you as everything. I don't think there's a name that you haven't had yet.
Right. I live all over the world. I get around.
You do. You do. You live in Texas a lot. Yeah. I don't know. I did have one that said you live in Texas, Taxes, but
I love most of the fake accounts. They'll say that I went to the University of America.
Oh yes,
or something like that.
Oh yes, you're very well. You've been all over. You've been to Oxford as well. You've been to Oxford a few times.
And sometimes I've seen that I model for Muscle and Fitness, or a model for GQ or something like that. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well,
this is it, because they probably can't comprehend that you model for.
Right. Well, I feel like also too, they don't want to give up too much information so that the person can find me.
Yeah, and we just thought what we'll do, we'll keep doing these. We will keep putting people out there. And so, somebody comes to us and says that they're talking to you, and we can tell them, we can show them.
You can show them this, yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to go back to the scammer and say, I've been told.
They're going to say, well, no, Kevin has hair, or whoever has hair. They'll say that's not him.
Doesn't want you to be happy.
Right.
They've just staged this video. I mean, one of the best thing is you didn't want to make this video, but I forced you. So
right.
You did, because I'm a wicked woman. I forced you, so you did. And people will actually come and tell us that. Well, he didn't really want to do it, but it's us wanting to spoil people's happiness, and it is the opposite.
Right.
We want to get people out of scams, and that's all we do. That's all we want to do. We want to get people out of scams. We want to spread the word so they don't get into scams.
Yeah. I've had people find the real me, and then they don't want to believe me.
No.
And I'm kind of like, well, I'm sorry if you don't believe me, don't believe me, because I'm not going to sit there and argue with them. And then they want me to send a video. I'm like, no, or call them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to do this. I don't know if you're a scammer,
Yeah, I trust them.
But it's like, like they're. I'm like, you believe this other person for 10 months and gave them money, but you're not going to believe me, even though I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just telling you that other person's a scammer,
And you've got no axe to grind.
I don't.
So I mean, you can say to somebody, you are talking to a scammer. It is not me. Do not send any more money. We're not going to get married. Get out the scam. Basically.
Right. And a lot of times then that person will once they do realize I am legit, then they want to start talking to me a lot. And I have a rule. Anyone who's been scammed by me, I have to keep a distance from, because
very good.
If I continue to talk to you, to befriend you, it's going to be very confusing because you're still in love with me.
Yes.
And you need closure from that. So I try to make sure that, like, even if, like with Sue, I've been able to work with her on some things because she's taking it on herself to help others, which is great.
Very good.
But like I even told her, it's like, I have a rule that I just don't get too close to anyone that's been scammed because it's not fair for them.
I also don't like it when they accuse you and they won't be told it's not you. 2 reasons. One, it's not fair.
Right.
Because it's not. Another reason is because they're not learning anything. They've got to learn who has been behind that scam.
Right.
And it wasn't you.
Right.
And it wasn't, to me, if they're going to blame you and not learn who the actual scammer was, they're going to run into another scam because
it happened again. Right.
They're going to
and then they're like believing a scammer over a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, and this is a little joke of mine I have with James. James is in California, and he's a gay man as well. And we did have a laugh in our live chat because he keeps getting women who can turn him. You haven't met me yet. When you do, I can turn you away from being gay.
Right.
We did have a laugh about. He was trying to explain. Well, it's not that easy, It's a little more difficult than that. But these are the people that come to you because by the time they find you, they want you.
Right.
And you do. I think what you do is keeping them at a distance is a very good thing.
Because if they continue to talk to me at all, even chatting, they're still chatting with that person, that face, and the person might be a different person, but it's easy to just keep those same feelings going.
I think it's more difficult for them to divorce themselves from the scam when they get too close to you, if they get too close to you.
Right.
And basically, aren't they putting you in the scammer's place? Right.
They're just kind of like replacing that person, and then they're like, well, so I feel like it would be really easy because what's weird is like when I have talked to them some, and then they call me by the name that other person, or they'll start saying something, and I realize I'm like, I'm not aware of our past.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the conversations we've had before. And some of those conversations could have been very sexual.
Yeah.
And I have no idea about those. So me having a conversation with you is just odd because I don't know what's happened between us in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a false sense of closeness and security with you.
Right. I kind of understand because there was someone years ago that I was Facebook friends with that supposedly lived somewhat close in Alabama, and we ended up chatting some over time, and it felt very friendly, and then that account disappeared, and then later on I found the real person, and when I ended up following the real person, it was so odd because I would catch myself wanting to respond to that person because I felt like I knew them, and I'm like, they don't have a clue who I am, but in my head I felt like I still knew them. So I understand how easy that can be.
Yeah, I think when we had COVID, it was such a captive audience that scammers got a lot of they got people easier.
Yeah.
And kept going because it was so easy. So I just want to say thank you, Kevin. I really do. These do help us a lot. I hope, and send your women to us.
Yeah, I definitely have. I've actually, I've had some people that have hit me up, and I'm like, if you feel like you're being scammed, even if it's not by someone pretending to be me, please contact.
We do, because we do. I feel that we can explain to women what's happened in a way where there's no emotional attachment to us.
I have some other friends who, a lot of them are models, some are not, but they've been having people use their photos as well. So I'm going to start sending them to you as well.
Yes, and we take everybody, you know. But yeah, thank you very much. I wish I knew how to end this. Yeah. I think it's only awareness. We've got to get to the point where when somebody receives a contact, they can look at it, and they've heard about it so easily that they say, oh, that's one of those scammers, and gets rid of it, and it doesn't start.
Or their first instinct is to do some kind of research, like a search for that photo.
Yes. Yeah, because you're easy to find.
Right.
You don't, because of your job, you don't hide, but you don't anywhere on social media. So you are so easy to find. And the thing is as well, Kevin, you know, on your social media, because I know you went to the theatre the other night with your friends and things like that. You can't be on an oil rig because your day-to-day activities are quite easy to find.
Right.
And so why would you be going to the Rocky Horror Show or going to the gym if you were on an oil rig? You know, if we get people to research at the beginning, don't let it go too far, but think as well.
I've had some people recently, whenever I've posted a photo like that, they're like, are you in such and such? Are you not in Australia? You know, I'm like, okay, that's a red flag. Let me talk to them.
Yeah. You go to Australia a lot.
Right.
Yes, you beat the UK. Yeah. But what was the one that I liked? I had one, and he was in the Mexican Gulf on an oil rig, and I said, I hope you keep warm because it's very cold down there. And he said to me, yes, it is. It's very cold. Oh, come on, you know.
Right.
You know, you're an idiot. But yeah, so thank you very much, Kevin. I won't keep you any longer. I just want to thank you a great deal for doing this, and it just helps. And let's hope we can make some inroads into this.
Hopefully we can do it again, because I really do want to get the word out and do what I can, because it's only getting worse.
It is. I mean, do you know, when I first started doing this, and it's like 12, 13 years ago, you know, when I learned about this, and I thought, oh, I know about this, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to stop this because I know about it.
Right.
And I can tell people, and thanks, Dana. And you know what? It must be 100 times worse now than it ever was at that time.
And I feel like AI is going to make it even worse.
It has, but I think, and I'll tell you quickly why it doesn't worry me so much. They will do AI with your pictures. They will do AI with making videos. They will always have you on an oil rig. They will always have you widowed. Your wife died of cancer, car crash, or childbirth. Right. They don't change the stories.
Right.
And we've got to work on those stories to get people to realize they can send them all they like, but they still keep to those formats, to those scripts.
Yeah.
Because they've got the same scripts as they did have 10 years ago.
And it's easier to keep up with that if they don't have too many stories.
Yes. Yeah. And we can anticipate, well, you know, is he a widow? Well, did his wife die of cancer, car crash, or childbirth? Well, it was actually a car crash. Oh, he was divorced. Oh, she cheated with his best friend and she's on drugs. Well, yes. So it actually does us a favour. So long may the script last, because we can anticipate it.
Right.
So thank you. And thank you
for having me.
Friends who've been giving you very cryptic comments on coming up here. Some of them are teasing you a bit, I think. But yeah, thanks, Kevin. It's lovely to talk to you when it's not just on text.
Right. Great talking to you too.
You know, we will do it.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.